Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Butterflies Poison. About to have a nice conversation with our girl Kyoko, and hi, I didn't notice this screen when we ended the last part until I just loaded this now, and I was like, my son? Kyoko has a kid? We're gonna be stepmom? It's gonna make our relationship awkward. Anyway, I actually wanted to visit earlier, but my son had a fever. They're sipping at the tea that Fujita prepared for them. Kyoko's sitting across Spacey, and she begins talking with an annoyed look on her face. Across from Spacey. I feel like that should have been a from. Seems weird. I hate children. They get fevers all the time. My son's already 10 years old, and my maids are capable of looking after him. But my father just wouldn't let me have the maids take over. I hate children. Kyoko! I like you a little bit more every time you show up. I didn't know you had such a grown-up son. Yes, I do. I gave birth to him when I was 30. Before him, I had always been careful not to have a child. But then I was told to have one, so I had no choice but to make him. Wow, you know what? I kind of fucking love her. She's up here I didn't want kids. I hate kids. And then they were like, you gotta do this. And I was like, fine, I guess. Miserable about the whole thing, and I'm here for that. But also now we know she's 40. And she definitely old enough to be our mama. But that makes it a little more inappropriate, aside from the fact that this is what was it, 1918? And we're gonna have a lesbian love affair with her. And she's old enough to be our mom. This is sexy. This game. So much. I don't know why I say these things of course this game wouldn't go make it as risque and sexy as they can. You know what I mean? Anyway. Giving birth was the most horrifying experience of my life. You'd be happier without it. I certainly don't recommend it. Oh, right. You know, I'm not opposed to going down her route now if I don't have to have kids. It's the first time someone has told her not to have children, and that someone is a woman. This Kyoko lady says the most mind-boggling things while maintaining such a look of indifference. Spacey's never met anyone like this lady before. She's a bit unconventional, and that part about her reminds Spacey of Shiba because they seem to have it in common. I'm glad I got to visit Shigeko. She's gotten much thinner than I remember, though. Yes, my mother hasn't been eating much, so I figured, just by looking at her condition... Kyoko blinks, her long eyelashes fluttering with the movement and sighs. The previous master of this house loved Shigeko so much. Maybe he's trying to drag her to the other side. What? She implores, not believing what she's just heard. I think our mother is trying to run after him, so I don't, Is her father that badly in love with her mother? Because that wasn't the impression she got as their child. To her, the relationship between the married couple looked like it had gone completely cold. Spacey doesn't know how to react. She knows that Kyoko meant that remark as a compliment to her deceased father, but she didn't expect Kyoko to phrase it as a reason for her mother's illness. I mean, our mother did say, I'll be with my beloved husband soon, so it kind of feels like mom's chasing him. Whether he's pulling her or not. Just saying. Kyoko watches Spacey with a bemused expression. Oh, why do you look so surprised, my lady? I just, It's alright, and no one will blame you for not knowing about it. Kyoko's laughter fills the room like the light tingling of a bell. It's only because I've been friends with Shigeko for a long time that I'm privy to that information. The previous master's obsession with Shigeko was simply out of this world. Was it? Yes. I'm sure you believe your parents' marriage was a political one, done out of convenience, don't you? Spacey nods because that was indeed what her mother told her. And it's not entirely wrong, but his love for her was so deep, it's actually a bit off-putting. That heavy? Gosh, yes! So heavy it nearly wore Shigeko's mind and soul down. And then again, I wouldn't expect them to openly show such an intense love in front of their child. Macy finds Kyoko's words hard to believe, especially considering the fact that your father banged someone else and that's why you have your brother. You know what I'm saying? Because it begs the question. Yeah, okay, right here. Because it begs the question of why her father would sleep with another woman and let her give birth to Mizuhito. She doesn't have an answer to that, and she wonders if her mother would share it with her. But her mother is ill. Given the current circumstances, asking her about it just doesn't seem like the best thing to do. Because I'm gonna assume it's not public knowledge that her brother is not Shigeko's son. You know what I mean? Although you'd think you would have seen her being pregnant. You'd be like, I hid it well. I don't know. By the way, did you leave the manor today? No, I've been home all day today. Why do you ask? I saw you entering the manor when I was walking down the stairs. Was it just my imagination? Why would we lie to her and tell her we were here? Oh, I only went out to see the garden. My, that's wonderful. The weather today is just perfect for that. It's a little breezy, but the cool wind is comfortable. Then, another matter springs to Spacey's mind. It's the issue that Majima has stubbornly refused to talk about. If she asks Kyoko right here and now, she's fairly sure that she'll give her an answer. Oh wait, was that... Okay, wait. Now my brain is broken. I literally just did the other part yesterday. Oh, we went out to Majima to talk to him about that guy. We were in our room. Okay. Going out with Shiba was like the prior day. Okay. All right. Wow. It's been 24 hours and my brain is so broken I couldn't remember that. Anyway. I'm like, we were outside. Right. I forgot we only went outside to talk to Majima. Shiba was like the day before or a couple days before or whatever. Not today. Okay, I got it. I'm here. I'm finally on the same page as everybody else. Really. It's the issue that Majima has stubbornly refused to talk about. Oh, okay. I just read that. Oh my god. Something wrong with me. I'm not having a good day. Today is not a good brain day for me, just FYI, so, Spacey's still curious about the journalist. Her guts tell her that this isn't an issue she should overlook. Lady Kyoko, I have a question for you. What is it, cutie pie? I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability. Kyoko smiles brightly at her. Encouraged by the lady's positive reaction, Spacey opens her mouth to press on. A journalist came to the manor just now. Oh, a journalist? Our servant turned him away, but I can't help but wonder what a journalist would come here for in the first place. What did the journalist say to your servant? Well, the thing is that servants refuse to share the details with me. That's why I'm so bothered. Kyoko blinks slowly. She holds Spacey's serious gaze as she seems to be pondering over something. Right. Maybe you should be informed about it. Or rather, I think you'll eventually find out, one way or another. What? What are you talking about? Your brother's not really your full sibling. What? No, I knew that. I'm just kidding. The atmosphere around them is ominous, and it frightens Spacey. She was the one who brought up the subject, but in hindsight, maybe she shouldn't have. Maybe she isn't ready for the answer. Maybe it's a sense of foreboding or an instinct shouting at her that something dangerous is coming her way. Listen, it's actually highly likely that your father wasn't murdered by those brutes. Is this supposed to be news to us? That the Chinese bellflower and the mother freaking out? I'm like, you knew that was a sign of something. Not to say that it couldn't have been those brutes that busted in, but like, you knew there was something more to it than just, oh, we busted in, burn the rich. You know what I mean? What? Every muscle in her body grows taut. Cold blooms from her fingertips, creeping upwards until it's frozen her hands in her lap in an instant. Unlike the strained look on Spacey's face, Kyoko remains nonplussed as if she's just talking about another piece of gossip. At this rate, it's plausible that the lady's willing to answer any questions thrown her way. However, she isn't sure she wants to know more. Choosing her words carefully, Spacey asks with a trembling voice, So, killed my father? Well, I don't know. But apparently the men who were captured alive all said they didn't remember having killed the Viscount. And they also said when they broke into the manor, the Viscount wasn't even anywhere to be seen. What? And no one knows what truly happened, though. And maybe those men are just lying through their teeth to escape the punishment for murder. Still, I doubt those brutes are capable of even thinking that far. In short, maybe someone else killed the Viscount before those men invaded the manor. No. Why would anyone do that to my father? I'm saying he borrowed fucking money or some shit. Spacey last saw her father before the dancing started. It was before she was introduced to the guests, greeted them, and ran away to the garden because she got tired of the crowd. Spacey has no idea what happened after that. She doesn't remember she does remember taking a breather while letting Majima wash her feet. Up until today, she thought those brutes killed her father, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Someone else killed her father when she was away from the manor, and then those men broke in. And the journalist must have gotten wind of this information. I guess one should never underestimate journalists. But why would it be of any interest to the journalist? If those criminals didn't kill your father, it's likely that the culprit was someone at the party. And it wouldn't be someone so strikingly different from the rest, or they would attract attention. Which means the murder case of the Viscount would make for a great news article, considering the guests that night were all people of high social status. I can't wait to find out which one of our boyfriends killed our dad. You think it was Majima? Because he's the last route we go down? I'm just saying, if there's like now this murder mystery, do you think that one of the men that we're gonna boink killed our dad? And like, if it's not Sheba, because we're going on Sheba's route first, and we find out who then it ruins everything. So like, if it's someone that we're gonna romance, it's gonna have to be Majima. And also, he's the gardener and there was a flower. I'm just saying that points to him if it's anybody we're dating. So like, did I just ruin the whole game? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it had to have been someone at the party. Because again, here's the thing. If the whole mystery, if this is going to be like a mystery and it's not like, oh, it's because our father had debts and whatever. Okay, obvious thing. And it's some random person killed our dad because he wasn't paying his debts back. Fine. Then that makes sense. You're going to find that out in every route. But if it's a character we're romancing, you know what I mean, that did it, and it's not just some kind of like passing random thing, then it's going to be Majima because he's the last route and there would be no reason to lock him at the end. So, I'm just throwing it out there. Not saying it's definitely one of our boyfriends / girlfriend over here. But if it is, it's Majima. No question. Again, the flower would also indicate him, you know, if that's the way this is going to go. So, I guess we'll find out. So. And the journalist wanted to interview this household. Exactly. Yoko's voice sounds far in Spacey's ears. And I heard there wasn't any sign of resistance or fight on the Viscount's body or around the place where his body was found. To top it all off, he looked surprised. Maybe the culprit was someone that he was familiar with, and so he didn't expect the attack. Again, you wouldn't expect it coming from your gardener, would you? I'm just throwing it out there! But I don't think this case will ever be solved. There aren't any witnesses. If there were, the police would already be on the move. I'm sure this case will remain unsolved. Someone who was at the party that evening killed her father. This newfound discovery is much more difficult to come to terms with than the theory that the anti-government criminals were her father's murderers. Spacey can't remember how the rest of her conversation with Kyoko went. When Spacey snaps out of it, so much time must have passed, and she's sitting on the couch in the parlor all by herself. Fujita calls her to inform her dinner is ready, and she vaguely registers that it's already nightfall. Like, Jesus, Kyoko's like, okay, bye, and then leaves, and we're just like, staring at her hands. I mean, the only thing that would indicate it's not anybody we're dating is the fact that our mother was like, oh, about the Chinese bellflower, which seems like it's something sus that they know about. Like, again, you borrowed money from the Chinese mafia or some shit, and they're coming after you. I'm just throwing it out there. Although Hideo did say we could run away to China. Didn't he say that? So that's sus to him. Chinese bellflower, running away to China, Chinese mafia. I don't know. I don't know. He's looking a little sus now too, but like, again, though, if it's any character we're dating, unless they change it in every route, so it's like a different character. You know, like, oh, we're going down Shiba's route. Oh, Hideo killed our dad. But we go down Hideo's route and Majima's the one who killed her. You know what I mean? Unless they switch the character. So, like, hey, which one of the characters you're romancing? A different one killed your dad. They wouldn't, you know what I mean? And, like, unless they do that, if it's a character that we're romancing, it has to be Majima because otherwise it would just give it away and it would be weird to have that resolution early on. You know what I mean? Like, we're in Shiba's route. Hideo kills your dad. Well, then when you go down Hideo's route, then the rest of the routes, it's no surprise. So, like, what's the fun in that? But if you never find out who it is and it's just this mystery, and then all of a sudden you go down Majima's route and Majima's the one who killed your dad, that makes sense. Again, with the stipulation that it's one of your romance partners. So they could go multiple ways. It could be, it's always a mystery, or it's a random character thing, Chinese mafia, whatever, nobody that we're dating is involved. And we kind of figure that out, but that's not the whole point. That's just like a little sort of plot thing in the background, not important type of a thing. Or if they go down the route that it's a love interest, they've got two versions. It's a different love interest depending on whose route you're in, so that it's always kind of a surprise. You know, like, in Shiba's route, it's Hideo. In Hideo's route, it's Majima. And in Majima's route, it's Shiba. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? Or it's always going to be Majima if it's a love interest, because he's the last one, so. I mean, we'll figure it out. Well, I mean, we won't figure it out, but we'll kind of know which way they're going through Shiba's route. Once we get to the end, if it's like, oh, it's just some random group and blah, blah, blah. Dad had money problems, money lenders. Instead of breaking his kneecaps, they killed him. Then we know that's probably the way it's going to play out and everything. Doesn't mean Majima's not still involved, but I'm just saying, like, you know. But if it goes down to, we'll never find out, I guess, shucks, and they leave it like a cliffhanger, then I'd get more sus about Majima. Still love him, but I'm just saying. I kind of like it when the games throw you a weird little curveball where you're like, I don't know where you're going with this. Okay. Back in her room, Spacey sits in her bed, unmoving. How much would that be amazing, though, if it was like Majima killed your dad? Because you, like, really loved and respected your dad, but you've always been in love with Majima, and then you romance him, and then you find out he killed you, and you're like, fuck, man. She wants to just fall asleep, but no matter how many times she tries to lie down, sleep never came to claim her. I was killed by someone who he was familiar with. Her conversation with Kyoko refuses to leave her mind. She's tried thinking about other things to no avail. And again, here's the thing, though. I don't know if he knew Shiba, so that kind of, like, takes him out. I don't know how well he knew Kyoko, and, like, why would she kill him? So, like, alright. Hideo, the only reason is, like, well, you're in the military, so you'd probably be able to kill him. And you mentioned China, that's the only reason I'm sus of you. At all. But, like, that's pretty flimsy. I highly doubt our brother would kill our dad, because he doesn't want to be dealing with this shit. He's like, no thanks, I just want to paint. So, like, why would you kill our father? And, like, why would the butler do it? Well, you know what? The butler, it's always the butler! So that's the only reason I'd be sus of Fujita, is the fact that it's always the butler. The butler is always a sus character, so only reason to be suspicious of you, but, like, otherwise, I see no reason why you would do it. You know what I mean? Unless someone paid you off. But I find that far-fetched. So Fujita's only slightly sus because of, again, the flimsy sus is because you're the butler. So they just threw you into the suspicion round right there. And then Majima's the most suspicious out of all of them because, again, last route, Chinese bellflower, you're a gardener, and we don't know anything about you. You know what I mean? Mystery character that we've been in love with since we're there. Kind of, that, if you think about it, the way they're setting that up, like last route, he's the gardener, there was a flower on our father, and we've always kind of had a crush on him. Most suspicious. Anyway. I just can't stop thinking about this. It's gonna be exciting! Oh, man, as if it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna run off with the gardener, now he's also our dad's murderer. Cool! Game's going hard, if that's the route it's going, but you know what I mean. Her conversation with Kyoko refuses to leave her mind. She's tried thinking about other things, to no avail. What should she do? Spacey doesn't know what to do to get rid of the agony in her heart. But she doesn't have anyone around in front of whom she can wail about the cruel fact that she's just discovered today. Her brother must be in the red light district right about now, and telling her ill mother about this seems like an unwise idea. Honestly, maybe you should talk to your mother, because your mother will be like, oh, actually... Because your mother freaked out about the Chinese bellflower. You know what I mean? Majima and Fujita are her servants, and she isn't close enough with any of the maids. Besides, I don't think this matter is something I should discuss openly with others. You're gonna go to Shiba because he's the only one you haven't thought about. The fact that Kyoko has heard of that particular detail about her father's murder case means that there are people out there who know about it too. However, no one seems to know the murderer's objective, and there's yet to be an uproar about this household. Maybe Kyoko's right. The case will end up unresolved. Treat it as if it never happened until you get to Majima's route and you find out it was him and you know all the backstory, but you're already in love with him and it's too late to change your mind. I don't know, they paint him as like sweet and kind, so I don't know if they'd go that way, but whatever happens won't bring my father back. Who killed her father? She's caught between wanting to know more and not knowing at all. She fears the truth is going to be so much more excruciating to bear. If it's Majima, yeah. More importantly, she just doesn't have the willpower or energy to start investigating. Grief is still running deep in Spacey's heart. After all, it hasn't even been a month since her father died. She doesn't see how she can sleep now. Maybe she should just lie down and wait for morning to come. The sun will rise, shining over the world and dispelling some of the clouds that have gathered over her mind. I feel like they're setting us up really hard right now. The sun will come up and burn away some of the clouds and everything will be okay in the morning. Oh, your mom died. Just saying. Spacey closes her eyelids and they feel heavy. For a second, a dark wish crosses her mind. If only she could just fall into an eternal slumber. Perhaps then she'd no longer have to suffer. Oh my god, so is everything we're going to do in this game going to be a dream? We close our eyes and then like all of a sudden at the end it's like, and then she woke up. What the shit? We talked about eternal slumber. I'm just waiting. I mean, TikTok! Our mother's gonna die soon. There's no way she's staying alive. She spends the days after Kyoko's shocking revelation feeling restless, and on one such day, Shiba comes to visit again. It's painful to admit, but the Nomiya family's getting used to the man's unannounced visits. He's brought another bouquet for her. It seems he hasn't learned his lesson, but Spacey doesn't even have the energy to be sarcastic about it. So, what do you want? Why, of course I'm here to see you, my lady. Well, thank you very much. You've seen me. Now get out. I'm not here just to see you. I want to invite you to attend a dinner party with me. His unexpected words stop Spacey from sardonically telling him where the exit is. She inclines her head in confusion. A dinner party? Yes. Will you attend the dinner party hosted by Lady Kyoko? Oh, you will attend the dinner party hosted by Lady Kyoko, right? Huh? Lady Kyoko's hosting a dinner party? Yeah, she invited you, didn't she? I heard as much. Maybe she did invite her when she visited the manor to see her mother. Spacey only vaguely remembers the latter half of her conversation with Kyoko. No doubt because of the shocking news that Kyoko told her about. Also, I don't think... Okay, and like... I could see if it were any character, not Kyoko, right? Being like, no, we weren't invited because I'm not good enough to be invited. Because they're like, oh, we're not going to invite those povs, right? Like, you know what I mean? The poors! If it were any other random, like, townsperson. But Kyoko? She's kind of into us, so she would absolutely invite us. You know what I mean? She doesn't seem to, like, care about, like, the fact that we broke. You know? So. It was a mistake to fail to remember the invitation, though, because now she had Shiba, of all people, reminding her about it. Feeling awkward, she replies, I guess she did. What's wrong with you, my lady? Is your head up in the clouds? Drop it, will you? But still, do you think I'm permitted to attend the party? Obviously. Lady Kyoko and your mother are friends, aren't they? Shiba shrugs. duh written clearly on his face. Did they say duh back in like 1918? Under normal circumstances, she would have invited everyone in your family. But with the madam being bedridden, you and the master of the household are the only ones invited. It does seem like Lady Kyoko and my mother are longtime friends. Right? Not that I know much about it, though. Shiba gently takes a cigarette and lights it up. He sits back, taking one drag after another and blowing the smoke as if he's lounging inside his own house. And then he narrows his eyes behind the tobacco smoke. I heard Lady Kyoko's father captured some tigers in Korea, and the dinner party's going to be held at the... Teikoku? Teikoku? Yeah. At the Teikoku Hotel with about 200 guests. Tigers? Can we even eat tiger meat? I feel like that's illegal. But I mean, what do I know about 1918? But I feel like now that'd be fucking illegal, right? Yeah. I've never had tiger meat before, but apparently it's quite a delicacy. And that's why tigers are on the verge of being extinct, motherfuckers. Leave them alone. It's amazing, aren't they? Aren't they in the endangered species list? Like, don't touch them type of a thing? Right? Anyway. That's because you went hunting them for a delicacy. Leave them alone. Like, anyway. That's amazing. Not amazing, it's creepy. Lady Kyoko's father must be an incredibly formidable man to be able to capture tigers. You have a point. And then again, it's that woman's father we're talking about. His son-in-law's meeker than him, though. Or so I heard. Okay, wait. I mean, I know she has a son, but it was like, did she just... So, like, obviously, I think the thought should have there been that she's married, but I was like, maybe he died or something. You know? But, like, so she's married. So we're gonna have a lesbian relationship. Secretly! We're traveling companions or whatever. We're lady friends. There's air quotes around these, you know? And, meanwhile, she's got a husband and a kid. Oh, her route is getting more and more intriguing every time she's brought up. There is a reason why that one's at the end. Shit, no offense, Shiba, you're the most boring fucking person here. That's why you're the first route. Like, I don't dislike you. You're a little forceful and kind of like cocky and, you know, we're into that a little. But like, most boring person, because then we get to date our butler, which is kind of intriguing because, oh, butlers, you know, I have a thing for butlers. Like, sure. You know, and then we got the bastard bespectacled boyfriend, which I'm always into. So awesome. And then we get our brother, which I mean, hi. It's like, the first half of the game is like, again, like I said, the routes get better as they go. They're making Kyoko like, wow, this is getting more interesting. Shit. I feel bad for poor Shiba. Like, you're being overshadowed by all the wildly inappropriate shit. So what are you gonna do that's gonna spice you up a little? Aside from forcing your tongue down our throat and care. You know, I mean, alright. I think you're gonna need to do more of that. Really? People say it made more sense if Lady Kyoko and her husband swapped personalities. I guess they were right. That young lady must have been born in the wrong body. Maybe she was. Maybe she was. And that's why she doesn't want to... She's like, I didn't want to give birth. And I don't want to have a husband. I want a woman. Because maybe she could be transgender. You don't know. In 1918, she just didn't... Like, that wasn't a... I'm sure there were people who felt that way, but I don't think you were really, like... I don't think it was as easy to kind of switch into the gender you should have been born in 1918. I don't know. I don't know anything about 1918, but I'm just saying. Like, you know. I don't know if hormone therapy existed back then. You know what I mean? Where you could, like, live your best life. So maybe Kyoko was like, yeah, I probably should have been born a man, but I don't mind being a woman and I'm in a romance ladies, so I'm just going to be a lesbian. Or maybe that's as far as extent of, like, wrong body thing goes, is she's like, nah, I just like ladies. You know? Like, I don't want a penis. Perfectly fine with the body I have, but I like the vagina. I'm just saying. We're definitely having a lesbian romance with her, so it just gets more intriguing as we go. Shiba bursts out laughing, and he seems extremely amused. Oh, Shiba, if I only knew what the future holds. Macy finds the relationship between Shiba and Lady Kyoko odd. Shiba gives the impression that he's well acquainted with the lady, but what exactly is the nature of their relationship? thinking he's boning her. Well, that'd be so weird. She could be bi. I mean, obviously, she has a husband, but that doesn't mean she enjoys having sex with him. You know what I mean? It was kind of like your duty to get married and pop out babies. So, like, the lesbian thing would have to be secret. She's like, I hate this! You know. Or she could totally be bisexual. I don't know. Let's go with our bisexual queen, because I kind of just feel like she gives off more the bi vibe to me, but you don't have to like kids to want to like bone men, you know what I mean? So, Shiba, are you close with Lady Kyoko? I'd say so. Nothing deep, though. Can we just... So many inappropriate comments. Are you jealous? I'm not! Besides, Lady Kyoko is married. Didn't we judge him for fooling around with married women, like, in the last part? I don't know. She doesn't seem like the type who'd care about her marital status. What? But that's setting us up for when we date her. Unbelievable. Or so she wants to finish her sentence. But she recalls Kyoko's advice about never giving birth to children. She's quite an unusual woman in so many ways. Kyoko is my idol right now. Like, I don't want to have kids. I just want to live a wonderful life. Yeah. Like, right here. I mean, not the bisexual part, because I'm not into ladies at all. But, like, I'm just saying. Like, she's out here like, I don't have to have kids. Stupid. Don't do it. Like, good for you, girl. Kyoko clearly said she doesn't like taking care of children. Maybe she's unlike most women who think fidelity is a virtue. Well, okay, that too. I mean, like, I would be faithful to the person I was with. Like, but that's why we have a man harem, and we're not like, you know, it's okay. They all know. But, like, in reality, you know. The suspicion that Shiba and Lady Kyoko might be more intimate than Spacey thought they were invades her mind, and she hastily tries to extinguish it. Whoever this man has an intimate relationship with, it's none of her business. So, are you going or not? Lady Kyoko's dinner party? Yeah, if you're going, let's go together. Well... Oh! First choice in Shiba's... Oh, we're definitely in Shiba's route. I mean, I think we already knew that, but we're definitely in it now because this is the first choice in it, so... I'm going. She's gone out of her way to invite me, so I'm going. Oh? That's a good answer. Very good. You don't have to be so happy about it. Spacey gripes, hating the elated look on Shiba's face. I didn't decide to attend the party because I wanted to please you. Why did you then? I told you, it was wonderful of her to invite me, so... That's rich coming from someone who forgotten about her invitation until I brought it up. Well... Doesn't mean I'm going to the party to make you happy. Or so Spacey wanted to protest. She's pretty sure he's just going to parry it with another comment, so she begrudgingly swallows the words. You don't have to be so anxious. You're my fiancé, so I'll stick by your side. Oh my, how impudent! Spacey turns her face away from Shiba. I like how he's like, you're my fiancé. Did I agree to this yet? I don't think we actually agreed to this. She remembers what happened inside the car on their way back from their meal at Seiyuken, and her body shudders at the memory. To be honest, it takes everything she has to stomach being alone with Shiba right now. She's scared and anxious because there's no telling when Shiba will start acting odd again. Hey, Spacey, what is it? You don't have to look so frightened. I don't look frightened! I want to apologize. What? She turns to look at Shiba, his words catching her off guard. But he turns away, an awkward look etched on his face. I was drunk then, and I did something inexcusable to you. Shiba... I forgot you're a sheltered girl. You said those pretty harsh words, and then I couldn't help myself. Okay, so... saying mean things to you turns you on? It's gonna be a weird relationship. She's good, but I meant me. I like it when they say mean things to me. So then I get to be mean to... Dynamic. Oh, we're both kind of fucked up, aren't we? Couldn't you help yourself? That doesn't explain or justify what you did. Her voice trembles with rage. You know, I don't even want to be here talking with you right now. And I'm impressed you had the gall to see me after what happened that day. Oh? But you are talking with me now. And you said you'd go to the dinner party together with me. Well, I told you. I'm not going to the party to please you. I'm going because Lady Kyoko invited me, and I'm really intrigued to meet her husband. Oh, wow. You seem to really like that woman. Enough at least to endure going to the party with a man you loathe. You're not sorry at all, are you? That's not true. I wouldn't apologize if I wasn't sorry. Well, you're not acting sorry at all. Yeah, I'm aware I did something bad, but I don't regret it at all. Ugh. I'll have you know that this is me trying to hold back because, honestly, I want to kiss not just your lips, but your entire body. Wow. Sir. Hi. Stop it! Just stop it! Don't say anymore! Spacey loses her temper, shouting like a child during a tantrum. Yeah, but see, this is goading him more because he's like, look at that, you're all embarrassed now, yeah. I changed my mind. I'm not going to the party. Heaven knows what you'll do to me if we go together. Or go there together, sorry. Brother? Someone's busting in. Yeah. What's wrong? Why are you screaming? Oh, brother. Taking languid steps, Mizuhito enters the parlor. He looks like he's just woken up. But as soon as his eyes land on Shiba, some of the sleepiness in his eyes dissipates. I love the fact that he hates Shiba. Greetings, master of the house. I take it you just woke up. Yeah, so you came to visit. Again. If only I could come visit every single day. Is that what you want? Be my guest then. So what brought you here today? My first purpose is, of course, to see the lady. But I'm also here to discuss an invitation from the Amami family. The Amami family? Oh. I suppose you're referring to that tiger meat thing. Mizuhito shrugs, looking not the slightest bit interested. There might be ladies there for you to bang, ones that you haven't had sex with, that you don't have to pay. Just throwing it out there. I think we got a written invitation to the dinner party. But what does it have to do with your visit? Well, I thought that if she was going, we could go together. I would be against that, though. But your sister said she's going. Wait a second, Shiba! Oh. Is he telling the truth, Spacey? Mizuhito raises his eyebrow and turns to look at Spacey. Spacey gulps, words stuck in her throat. She isn't going. She changed her mind! But apparently, Shiba chose to conveniently forget about her revised answer. If she tells Mizuhito that she's changed her mind, he will believe her. But it'll probably create a dangerous atmosphere between Shiba and her brother. She wouldn't want that. Yes, he's right. I don't want to let Lady Kyoko's good-natured invitation go to waste. I see. Well, if that is really what you want, then I won't stop you. I'll go with you. Are you not forcing yourself? It's fine. I can't let my sister go on her own to any party hosted by the lady of the Amami family. Or alone with you, for that matter. Oh my, what a way to phrase things. Are you wary of not only me, but Kyoko as well? You probably should be wary of Kyoko as well, but like... He's like, if I want to have sex with my sister, I can't blame any woman for wanting to have sex with my sister. Look, Mizuhito's a little fucked in the head. I mean, a little depraved and debaucherous in imagining inappropriate things with his sister. So I can fully see him being like, I have a dirty mind and I don't trust anybody. Well, yeah. I've heard all sorts of rumors about her. Oh, intriguing. I'm sorry, Shiba, but Kyoko is just the focus of this episode, Jesus. Guess that explains why you feel the need to be protective. Brother? What are you talking about? Nothing that you should worry about. Those rumors are too ugly for your ears. What? If you want to know so badly, it's best to just ask the person herself. Besides, rumors are exaggerated by nature. Let's not talk about that woman any further. So, Shiba, I'm sure your occupation doesn't actually give you plenty of time to laze around. Oops, you got me. I guess it's time to go back to work. You don't have to force yourself to visit the manor if you're so busy. I'm not going to stop visiting. Seeing your face is now the only thing that I live for. Why, you have a talent for smooth talking. Only to you, though. Oh, and by the way, I've told Kyoko about the nature of our relationship, so keep that in mind, okay? You what? The nature of her relationship with Shiba? What does that even mean? Did he go so far as telling Kyoko about kissing her in the car? Spacey blanches. If he really did blabber about such a disgraceful event in the presence of another person, the implications! Don't look so green, please. I told her we're engaged, that's all. Engaged? That's egotistical of you. You came on to her and proposed to her, but I'd hardly call it an engagement. I mean, seriously, like, let's be fair. Shiba's over here like, so I proposed, so we're engaged. Just because you're like, will you marry me? No thanks. All right, cool, we're getting married. What? No, I didn't accept. But he was like, yeah, we're getting married. Shiba, what the fuck? It's kind of funny. True. And it's been pretty much decided that we're gonna get married. By who? Nothing's been decided yet. You really are an outrageous man. We're not wrong here. She's secretly relieved to know that Shiba hasn't told anyone about the incident in the car. Still, she didn't expect him to announce to another person that they're engaged either, since it's true that nothing about the course of their relationship has been decided yet. Please, just think of it as another act of a man who's helplessly in love. I'm also holding myself back from planning our wedding right away, you know? You must be Shiba stands abruptly before reaching out to where Spacey is sitting across from him and swiftly grabbing her shoulder. Without giving her a chance to fight back, he firmly draws her in. Spacey staggers in her seat on the couch and he pecks her lightly on the cheek. I know you're keeping your guard up around me, but your armor's full of holes. I can't hate him. Like, he's kind of a douche. He's douchey, don't get me wrong. He's like, yeah, we're getting married, whatever, I know. But it's like, he ain't wrong. We're kind of into him. Like, he's like, God, he's such an asshole, but he smells so good. And, like, he kissed me, and I kind of enjoyed it. And, like, I was thinking it, and it's wrong. How dare he? I don't want him to do it again. No, I don't. Yes, I do. I don't know. Like, she's just all over the place. But, like, there is a little part inside that's, like, kind of into it. And he fully fucking knows it. You! Just what do you think you're doing? Mizuhito rushes toward them, and Shiba moves away, and lengthening his stride across the parlor without a hint of remorse on his face. Like, that was the awkward... I figured out. That's how you get rid of the things. You push the left joystick. Anyway, so Mizuhito rushes toward them, and Shiba moves away, and lengthening his stride to cross the parlor without a hint of remorse on his face. And lengthens his stride to cross the parlor. Like, and lengthening... It implies that there's more, like, that's the weirdest phrasing. Tim, Ronald, what the fuck? And, like, the sentences and everything kind of flow, but there are moments where you're like, this, like, linguistically is just, grammatically is wrong, like. And lengthening his stride to cross the parlor without a hint of remorse on his face, and then he jumps out the door. You know what I mean? But, like, that's not how it is. Like, in lengthening his stride, it should be lengthens. Like, so every once in a while, first of all, they're very fucking long run-on sentences. They're, like, holy shit. There is a lot of words in they're just very long. They didn't break them up. Ever. So, like, but also, like, then they have lengthening instead of length. Just, you're reading and you're like, and... Okay. See you later, then. After giving them a perfunctory salute, he quickly walks to the door and disappears. He must be out of his mind. How can anyone be so impolite? Mizuhito's entire body is trembling with unbridled anger. It's gonna be weird because our brother's really not gonna like anybody that we date, but also it's gonna be kind of interesting when we do date Kyoko now. He really is not into her. Like, we don't know how he feels about anybody else. Like, obviously, like, because it's just Shiba, Kyoko's got some intriguing things, so he's really just... neither one of them's good enough, so interesting. No one is going to be. You know he's going to be, like, appalled with anyone we date, because he wants us for himself, so... Still slouching on the couch, Spacey moves her hand to rest it on her cheek. The ghost of his lips is still there. She didn't think that man would dare try anything insolent with her brother around, but... She thought wrong, and she let her guard down. Spacey, are you all right? My poor little sister. He gently wraps his arm around Spacey's shoulders, peering into her dumbfounded face. Are you going to kiss me now? Because that would be weird in somebody else's route. Save it for yours. The gesture snaps Spacey out of her stupor. Yes, brother, I'm all right. Fury bubbles up inside her, and it intensifies with every passing second. I mean, you can't blame Sheba for giving you a kiss on the cheek, because in his mind, you're engaged and you're getting married. So it's basically like you're greeting, like, kiss on the cheek to my lady. Okay, bye. We're mad about it. Our brother's mad about it. Everyone's mad about it, except for Sheba's like, what? It's my fiance. I can't kiss her on the cheek. Because if we had agreed and we were into him kissing us on the cheek wouldn't be inappropriate, right? So in his mind, it's totally fine. It's funnier. Fury bubbles up and okay, I read that. But the fury isn't entirely directed at Sheba. She's angrier at herself for having let her guard down. Forget about the party. I don't even want to imagine what that man will do to you. Yeah, I mean, good God. No, I'm still going. Why? Because not going means turning tail, and I hate that. I don't want to run away in fear. Spacey. Mizuhito stares at his sister, looking vexed and impatient. Turning around and running away from that arrogant man's the last thing Spacey wants. She has to face him head-on or he'll strike, promptly sinking his fangs into her. That's just how much that man seems capable of inducing the kind of fear that only wild beasts can. He's decidedly unlike any other man she's ever come into contact with. She refuses to bow down and lose. Oh, we will, though. She doesn't want him to think she's afraid. Have you... But her brother seems to be associating her attitude with another cause entirely. Have you fallen in love with that man? Please tell me you haven't. God, look at him. What? And did something happen when you went to Seokin with him? She freezes. The incident in the car. She can't have anyone find out about that incident, especially not her brother, right? What are you saying, brother? Who would fall in love with that barbarian? Us. Absolutely gonna be us. Are you sure? Positive. How could you come to that conclusion? I'm shocked. I didn't want to believe it either. Mizuhito's eyes are fixed on Spacey, watching, no, doubting her. She holds his gaze, challenging and angry, and her brother eventually gives up. He lowers his head and says, But you're right. You wouldn't fall in love with a man like that. And the sister that I've raised with all my heart just wouldn't. The sister that I've raised with all my heart that I want to stick it to. Just remember that. Every time he opens his mouth and says things like this, it gets more inappropriate. I'm not sure how you could get more inappropriate than a brother wanting to bone a sister, but it does. That's right. I really don't fancy nouveau riche men who think that money can give them everything. Spacey listens to her own words, and she begins to think that it is her genuine opinion. Yes, he's just a greedy nouveau riche man. He's a savage who barged into this household, offering money in exchange for her, and forced kisses on her. Who would ever fall in love with that ruffian? Not her. She resents him, and she'll never grow to like him. That's always what they say right before they do. I mean, we knew where this is going, come on. That's right. She remembers now what kind of a man he is. And yes, she did forget about his nature for a moment there. Now Spacey's ashamed of herself for having faltered when her brother asked about her feelings. She needs to remind herself, to that man, she's nothing but a total boost to his pride. Tool to boost his pride. Wow! Well, I can't read. We know this. That's all there is to it, and I can't allow myself to think otherwise. Spacey repeats the words in her head, casting them on herself like a spell. That spell gonna be broken real fast. On the day of the dinner party, the moment Spacey steps into the banquet hall, she immediately finds the hustle and bustle overwhelming. Sitting in the waiting room with her are well-known figures. Despite being fairly distanced from the happenings in society, even she's heard of some of them. A cabinet minister with authority in the political world, a general of the army with countless blinding medals on his attire, as well as several wealthy marquises and dukes who are pure-blood aristocrats. Each guest is dressed extravagantly, but the banquet's just as glamorous with its decorations and performances. First of all, there are taxidermy tigers positioned on both sides of the corridor that lead toward the banquet hall. This is the first time Spacey's seen a real tiger. Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of real, but it's also dead. They're big and fearsome, but their majestic forms are so breathtakingly beautiful. Shame we had to kill them! I'm pretty sure in 1918 it wasn't like, well, there's just bazillions of tigers, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere in 100 years it went like, well, not a lot, you know. Pretty sure tigers were a little like iffy then, but maybe no one gave a fuck in the 1918s? I don't know. The hall's spacious enough to fit about 200 guests, and it's decorated with lush bamboo thickets that would remind one of an enigmatic landscape deep in the mountains of Korea. The brilliant dancing of the geisha performers adds even more color to the banquet. A nice-ass fucking room. Without Shiba to prompt Spacey to keep walking, she would have probably bolted out of the hall and returned to the manor. The hall's like another world. She wonders if it's even okay for her to be witnessing these things because she's from a poor aristocratic family, and this occasion doesn't match her one bit. And this is what rich people do. Shiba says as if he knows what she's thinking, and she jumps. To that woman, this banquet's an everyday occurrence. She's from the excessively wealthy Amami family, after all. It's hard to believe that my mother has been friends with someone of this caliber. Hey, your mother shouldn't have stayed friends with the lady, though. Shiba sneers, cynical. I do like that we're like, everyone's talking down to our future girlfriend. Having someone this wealthy for a friend will distort anyone's sense of how to use money.
That's such a bold comment. Aren't you and the lady practically birds of a feather?
Me? Don't let me in together with her, Shiba says, scowling in response to Mizuhito's accusation. I know poverty, and I bet you can't even begin to imagine the severity of my penniless days. It's like a living hell. Kyoko spots Spacey and the two men. She leaves the circle of people who have been laughing together with her and approaches their small group. I mean, I'm kind of almost ashamed that they didn't give us fancy, like, outfits for our, like, sprites here, you know? Like, come on, we're at a banquet. We should have different outfits.
Well, look what we have here. Thank you for coming. I'm thrilled to see all of you here. I'm honored to have been invited to this party. Please, young master. Oh, excuse me. You're the household's master now, and the honor is mine. Thank you for being friends with my mother. Please accept my regards on her behalf. Oh, I was hoping Shigeko would come if she was feeling better, but not this time, Yes, my deepest apologies. Oh, please don't apologize. I'm beyond honored and thrilled to have you and the little lady here.
And then Kyoko's got that look on her face as she's eyeing us up and down, like, winking at us. Thinking of all the naughty things she wants to do to us. Shigeko, what? Not Shigeko, Kyoko. Wow! Wow! Bad Tim and Ronald. Who was in charge of that? Bad you. Anyway. Kyoko flashes them with a bewitching smile and turns to Spacey. Feeling her pulse beating faster under the scrutiny of those captivating eyes, she smiles back at the woman. See, we're getting a little into it. Lady Kyoko, thank you very much for your invitation.
I see your youth and loveliness are at their peak today, too.
The lady alternates her gaze from Spacey to Mizuhito, squinting her eyes as if she's staring right at the sun.
You're such beautiful siblings. Too beautiful, in fact, that I'm worried I might get too excited and end up losing my inhibitions.
You really only have eyes for the beautiful.
Oh, I wasn't aware that liking beautiful things is bad.
Kyoko cocks an eyebrow at Shiba's words. No, not at all. That is, as long as you stay away from what's mine. This is the fun part about this right now, because Shiba's like, don't touch my woman. And Kyoko's like, I'll take her away from you. And Mizuhito's like, shh, please, my sister. There's like a three-way battle going on here that we're in the middle of, like, shit.
What's yours, She inclines her head to the side in question for a second before glancing over at Spacey.
And then the lady chuckles.
Oh, Shiba, all you did was propose to her, and now you're acting like you own her.
Yeah, she's my fiancé. The woman that's gonna be my wife. Sheba replies, the lilt in his voice full of jest and his movements exaggerated. Irked at his reaction, Spacey opens her mouth to retort, only to snap it closed a second later, because she notices that the eyes of their guests around them are now fixed on them. Of their guests around them are fixed on them. Wow. Picking up a fuss right here and now would be disgraceful. Spacey feels her cheeks grow warm as she casts her eyes on the floor. What did she do to deserve this humiliation? Apparently exist in this world. She hasn't said anything about agreeing to be his fiancé, so how can you declare it in front of so many people? A wife exists to serve her husband. In other words, she belongs to her husband. Am I wrong? Yes, abso-fucking-lutely, sir! Slap.
Oh gosh, that joke again. The two of them continue to exchange a light banter, oblivious to Spacey's mortification. I thought you were a great man of the new era, but I guess I was wrong. You are still trapped in that old mindset. Are you telling me a woman should obey her parents, husband, and children?
Indeed, women are weak and they must be protected. To protect means to nurture and to possess, does it not? Wow. Wow. Sheba, stop right now. Seriously, sweetie, I'm gonna need you to shut the fuck up.
Excuse me, are we talking about dogs or women?
You know, Kyoko, I'm starting to like her more. She is. She's that. I'd say she's a strong, independent woman who's like, I was forced to get married and have kids, but this isn't what I want, and women aren't property. I will burn all the men. Like, I'm here for this.
The lady's bright red lips curve into a smile. She lifts her sleeve to mask the intensity of her expression, as a modest lady does. She looks up at Sheba with eyes like a cat's.
I like the fact that they not just we're gonna put a lady romance in, because like, okay, it's a little risque for 1918, right? But just they put this character in. You know what I mean? Like, for the time, she is like totally going against everything of the times, and I'm here for it.
No, women are not possessions of men, so please don't get the wrong idea.
What wrong idea are you referring to?
Just think about it. Who gave birth to you? Did some inanimate object give birth to you, or were you born out of your father's buttocks?
The hall erupts in laughter. If those words had come out of an ordinary woman's mouth, the guests here would have given her the cold shoulder. But since it's Kyoko who's talking here, they respond to her statement with laughter, as if she's brainwashed them. It's truly the most curious sight to behold. Sheba doesn't even look offended as he laughs along. Maybe he didn't even mean a word in his speech. Oh, I'm sorry, maybe he didn't mean a word in his little speech. Sheesh. You have completely cornered. You have me completely cornered. Alright, I stand corrected. Women are definitely not weak.
Oh, hush! You're so ornery, Sheba! The lady breaks into a peal of laughter, the sound tinkling and pleasant like the laughter of a young girl, and the atmosphere of the entire hall grows lighthearted. She then proceeds to introduce her father, who's the main host of the party, and her husband. Are we going to get a CG? I mean, a CG. I meant a sprite. Are we going to get a sprite of the husband? Because I kind of want to know what he looks like, you know? Both men seem exactly like how Sheba described them earlier. Lady Kyoko's father, who owns the Amami liquor wholesaler, is called Shohei, and he's indeed a man of fortitude. If the lady was a man, she would probably look like this man, who also happens to have a broad-minded personality. On the other hand, her husband, Aitaro, has a calm demeanor and a lean stature. He looks like his wife has him wrapped around her little finger. She does. Do you think Kyoko wouldn't have us wrapped? She practically has us wrapped around her little finger. Nobody says no to her. Well, maybe we should start the dinner. Sounds like a good idea, right, Dad? Kyoko raises her voice, greeting all the guests and prompting them to sit at their respective tables. After a lengthy speech about Sir Shohei's tiger hunt, dinner is finally served. The Teikoku... Oh, that's right, we're at a hotel. Because I was like, damn, this place is fancy. When they kept saying the banquet hall or whatever, I forgot they mentioned that before. The Teikoku Hotel's top-notch chefs prepare the full-course dinner, and the main course is a dish made with tiger meat. However, it tastes awful. No one's brave enough to say it out loud, but the meat stinks and the texture is horrible. The meat must have gone bad on its way from Korea. Everyone in the party grimaces, but continues to chew on it.
actually pretty funny. Like, they're like, the meat must have gone bad. I mean... Did you not put that shit on ice? That sounds... I kind of like that they threw that in instead of being like, oh, it's a wonderful... It's like, this shit's awful! Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here, and we will continue next time. So, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.